Of January 19th, 2021. Notice of this meeting stating the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. In addition to the publishing of the annual meeting schedule, electronic notice was provided on January 15th, 2021 to the local source and Star Ledger, noted that the meeting would be conducted through the Ring Central program and containing information on how to access the meeting. The same information was posted on the city's website, Linden TV, the bulletin board, and the front door of City Hall. Copies of the agenda, finance report, and personnel reports are also posted on the city's website and Linden TV for the public. This meeting is now called to order. Mr. Clerk, can you please conduct the prayer and flag salute?
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Please note that members of the public who may be attending are on mute until the public hearing on ordinances or public comment portion of the meeting. If you wish to be recognized, please use the raised hand icon in the program to identify yourself. You will then give your name and address as at any council meeting. Failure to do so will result in your being muted and recognized further. If you're registered more than once, you will only be recognized to speak one time under your first registration, as with any council meeting. When public comment is open, the ability to register will be closed. Again, I'm going to repeat. When the public comment portion is open, the ability to register to speak will be closed. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
JAVICK?
Here.
Caldwell?
Present.
Mohammed?
Present.
Cosby?
Present.
Roman?
Present.
Strano?
Here.
Blaine?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
Here.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Here. Okay, approval of the minutes of the December 15, 2020 and December 29, 2020 regular meeting.
Council President, I ask for approval for the minutes of the meetings for December 15th, 2020 and December 29th, 2020, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
JAVICK?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Mohammed?
Okay.
Cosby? Ms. Cosby?
I abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Abstain.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to now call on Mayor Armstead. He has a proclamation to recognize Philip Schwartz for his 100th birthday and declaring February 11th, 2021 as Philip Schwartz Day in the city of Linden. Mayor Armstead? Charlie, you have the mayor on here?
Council President,
Okay.
I'm going to defer the proclamation to my, when I do my mayoral report. As you know, I was requested to attend another meeting and I should be done with it within the next 20 minutes or so. So during my mayoral report, I'll do the proclamation as well.
Okay, Mayor. Thank you. Okay. For ordinances on hearing, there are none this evening. The public hearing on ordinance 65-1 is scheduled for February 16, 2021 meeting of the City Council. Okay, we're going to move on to consent agenda items. All items are listed with asterisks, are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. We don't have any separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests. We have items number 1 through 5. Does any council member wish to remove an item? Please use your raised hand icon in the program. Councilwoman Cosby?
Here to get back in. I just wanted to wish all the retirees health and wellness on their retirement, specifically Nancy Kobler, the health officer.
She's doing something.
She's got something on her feed. Why we're getting the feedback. Thank you. Okay, any other council members? Okay. So we have a motion for the consent agenda items number 1 through 5, please.
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 5 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond,
Yes.
JAVIK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
yes,
Mohammed,
Yes.
Cosby,
Yes.
Roman,
Yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Okay, we're moving on to committee reports and comments from members of the governing body. Okay, we're going to start with First Ward Councilwoman Ormond. Again, I'm going to remind the council, please be mindful of your time. If you need additional minute, please ask. Go ahead, Councilwoman Ormond.
Thank you. I'm going to start off with the finance report. Approval is requested for the following finance actions: the payment of bills totaling $1,119,005.40. Bills have been signed by the mayor, council president, and finance chairwoman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. We are in receipt of the investments made by the city treasurer for the month of December at the rate of 0.10%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
We have a second, please?
second,
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Mrs. Ormond,
Yes.
JAVIK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
yes,
Mohammed,
Yes.
Cosby.
No.
Roman,
Yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Go ahead, Councilwoman Ormond.
Thank you. My next report is going to be from the Division of Transportation and Parking. I hereby submit the monthly financial report from the Division of Transportation and Parking for the month of December 2020. This report includes collection of on and off-street parking, meters, railroad parking lots, railroad parking permits, and merchant parking permits. The Trenton side collection, $739. The New York side collection, $349. Railroad credit card transactions, $10,089.83. Railroad permits, $270. Online railroad permits, $6,018. Parking meter collection, $6,424.30. And merchant permits, $2,033, for a grand total of $25,923.13, submitted by Tyrone Gibbons, the traffic maintenance supervisor. Okay, now just real quickly on my ward report. I also want to report on the Linden Heritage and Cultural Committee. Unfortunately, due to COVID, the last event that we had was the Black History Month movie. But somehow we were able to go ahead and pull off the holiday decorating contest that we typically do. We had a winner for every ward. So I'd like to personally thank the people who participated, all the houses that decorated, and each one of the council people who gave a gift certificate for a local merchant for the winners of this particular contest. Like I said, it was very successful, and it was safe because of COVID. Moving forward, we're going to try to think of some virtual things that we can do until the COVID lockdown is pretty much released, or this virus is under control. For the traffic department, we are now doing Street of the Week. Baltimore Avenue and the 5th and 8th wards are our Street of the Weeks. But I do want to also make a comment how successful the program has been over the last 6 months, actually slowing down and correcting bad driving behavior throughout the city of Linden. Unfortunately, we can't keep those Streets of the Week for the whole entire year, but it has been relatively successful. At this time, I would also like to just extend a thank you to so many of the department heads for how successful and how much they've helped me throughout the entire first ward this year. Starting with Parks and Recreation for diligently cleaning up a lot of the debris, broken glass, anything that I called, they reacted to. Branches falling down in parks that were close to people's homes, they took care of them, and I appreciate it. The Department of Public Works, they have trimmed and removed so many bad trees in the whole entire first ward, just making it safer for all. They've even gone through and removed a lot of the stumps. So I want to say thank you to all of them for their diligence and their hard work. Besides the trees, some potholes. We did have potholes that were taken care of and filled, even though we didn't have a lot of snow. And I thank them for that. Engineering. We've had a lot of utility work done in the first ward. Water company, gas mains, the whole 9 yards. And every time there was a slight problem with them not removing the material or any little issues that cropped up with curbings not being fixed, engineering stepped right up and rectified a lot of the problems. So once again, I want to say thank you. To the construction code department and our zoning team. We've had lots of violations that occurred in the first ward, and I'm going to say thank you because of your diligence and your hard work. A lot of those violations, the behavior has been corrected. But I also want to give a special thank you because whenever there was a problem with the permits being issued, every time I called, they stepped up to the plate and they took care of it. It's a complete effort by everybody in the city. And like I said, I'm just pretty much highlighting the ones that are out there, in the field doing a lot of the work, the hard work. I do want to apologize because of COVID, we were not able to do a lot of the things that we typically do in the first ward. We were able to have our annual spring first ward yard sale. Well, actually it was the fall. We had the fall first ward yard sale that we do every year. And I thank the participants, and it was a wonderful day. This year we weren't able to have our barbecue. I'm hoping that we can do it this year. We weren't able to have our Easter egg hunt that we typically do on the front lawn of school number 1 for the first and third ward. We weren't able to have that. Hopefully things will change. We did do a craft grab and go for the winter. We didn't get a lot of participants, but we did have some families that participated. This spring coming up, we're going to try that again. We're going to try and do a craft grab and go for the spring. So just be on the lookout for the notification coming via the Board of Education and via myself to participate. But once again, thank you to all who made my life easier in the first ward for the year of 2020, in spite of how COVID tried to wreak havoc on us. I also wanted to say Happy New Year to all of my residents, and don't let COVID keep us from not keeping in touch. I'm available 908-370-6482 or LORMON@linden-nj.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman JAVICK?
Yes, Council President. As chairman of the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected the following monies during the month of December 2020, a total of $5,310.55. Regarding the Linden Fire Department ambulance billing, the amount of $76,220.06 for December 2020 have been added to the total deposits for 2020, totaling $721,042.47. Good evening. Well, 2020 is here. The ending of 2020 went out with the best decorations our uptown has ever seen, thanks to Mike Bono, our SID committee, and staff. In the second ward, I'd like to congratulate Eduardo and Gladys Torres, who enhanced our holiday experience by decorating their home and winning the Cultural and Heritage Decorating Contest. If you'd like to see their home, just go to my Facebook site, Second Ward Councilman Barry E. JAVICK. I'm sure you'll enjoy this video. Some of my goals for this year are completion of roads being repaved, sidewalks replaced, and 2 parks finished. The dog park at Lexington Park will get up and running this year. Residents are looking forward to this, and this will be our second only dog park in Linden. The second park is in the creating stage. This is Brook Street Park, a underutilized piece of property with great potential that I believe can get up and moving in a direction this year. I'm also confident that our Police Traffic Bureau will finally establish a truck route for West Blanky Street corridor and do the necessary marking enhancements to slow down the traffic in our ward. I want my residents to know I'm working with the mayor and council president to bring forth a Linden that will thrive into the future. We are working for you and will again give you a 0 municipal tax increase. And this isn't easy given the COVID environment, but we will all get through this together. Just a side note, a new county fire academy is being established in Linden on Edward Street, which is the site of the former juvenile detention center. This facility will have class starting February 1st. So please be safe, be healthy, and be responsible. I can be reached at 908-494-4608 or email me at bjavick@linden-newjersey.org. I wish you a fantastic New Year, Council President, and the report.
Thank you, Councilman Javik. Councilwoman Caldwell?
Thank you, Council President. Hello, Third Ward neighbors. As the IT chair, the number of permits that were issued were 102. Certificates was 26. And for the month of December, it was a total of $139,000. As for IT, if you were on the call earlier, you heard the presentation of the city moving forward to government G Suite. We're going to be rolling out the laptops that we purchased for employees to work from home. We're going to be looking at revising some of the policies and procedures for use of your laptop at City Hall. What's going on in the Third Ward? I know a lot of you have reached out to me about the yellow flags and the blue flags. Well, the yellow flag means that is gas, and the blue flag means that's water. So there's going to be work done. Elizabeth Gas Town will be replacing on Maple Ave, Clark Street, Roselle Street, Jackson Avenue, Cleveland Avenue, Union Street, East Curtis Street, Middlesex Street, East Henry, and they will be paving it upon completion. The city of Linden will be paving the following streets in our ward: Clark Street, Pierce Avenue, Middlesex Street. I'll mention some of the other streets. It's in the first ward: East Gibbon Street, Baldwin Avenue, 3rd Avenue, Walnut Street, Maple Avenue, and they're also going to be doing the street Carnegie in the 4th ward. I'm not stepping on your toes, Alfred Muhammad, but I have this report, so I'll share it with everyone. I just want to hope and pray that everyone is well. I want to thank Public Works for helping me this last year with cutting down trees. I want to, thank the sewer team for helping me with my neighbors on Christmas. You've been very helpful. And I want to congratulate President-elect Biden and Kamala Harris on their inauguration tomorrow. And I want to thank Officer Eugene Goodman for saving so many lives at the Capitol on January 6th. If you need me, you can call me. Our next community meeting will be January 28th at 7 p.m. You can go on the city website to look up the information. It will be GoToMeeting. I look forward to working with you this year, and thanks again for letting me serve you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman Caldwell. Okay, Councilman Alfred Muhammad? Councilman Mohammed.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening. I would like to, first of all, thank the creator for maintaining this republic after the terrible, horrific incident took place in the United States Capitol on January the 6th. God bless America, and God has indeed blessed America to survive this. Mr. Marshall Parker, was resident of the 4th Ward, one of my early supporters when I first ran for office, passed, and I was at his funeral on Friday. God bless his family and comfort them. And I had the privilege of knowing him, a wonderful, outstanding United States military veteran, United States Army, and actually turned down an occasion to be in the United States Army's officers training candidate school to go back to his employer because he'd made a promise. If we had more people and citizens would keep up with our promise, we would have a greater and greater country, and we're on our way to that. We're planning an award meeting January the 30th. We've been hosted by the Holy Mountain Church at 800 Roselle Street. We get a report from the police department, the public works department, and the other departments, including the recreation department. But we also will be addressing peace in the neighborhood, something I've been working on since have come to Linden, and that is the addressing of our young people, to motivate our young people and to motivate the old people to resolve conflict through peaceful means and not through violent, vile methods. So we will be continuing our effort that we started when we first moved to Linden. And we also will have this meeting. Hopefully we'll have a monthly meeting. But I'm just honored that the Holy Mountain Church has hosted us. Also, I'd like to report that the utilities, that is Elizabethtown Gas in particular, are still working on the updates to the water lines, with a disruption on McCandless Street that has been remedied, and we will continue to thank them for their service. I also want to thank the Linden Police Department for an outstanding job that they have been working on in the 4th Ward. We'll get more reports on some of the initiatives we will be taking. We invite everybody out January the 30th at 3 o'clock. It'll be a short meeting from 3 to 4 at the Holy Mountain Church, 800 Roselle Street. Again, thank the pastor and his staff there. I can be reached at A. Mohammed at Linden-New Jersey.org or 908-463-4843. Council President, that concludes my report, and I thank you. And the next person to report will be none other than the Honorable Council Cosby, who will be giving her report. Thank you.
Hello.
That concludes my report.
Council President. Hello.
Councilwoman, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. First, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope that you and your families will be well and prosperous in the new year and years to come. Happy birthday to my kid, Ashley G. Wishing you all the best. This year, I will continue to do my best to bring transparency to the government. It will be hard with so much secrecy among some who, like me, took an oath but are not living up to their vow based on their actions. I am again annoyed to report that I am not assigned to any committees where my talents can be best used by the mighty council president. The one committee that I am assigned to is the city clerk. And since I've been elected 11 years, this proves my point that these people are stacking committees to get their personal and political agendas taken care of and hide from the public what they are doing by limiting the majority of the committees to the Super Six, who, by the way, do report to the public. What they don't report to the public what they are doing. I would err to say that committee meetings should be public, except for personnel, just like the state public bodies. I will start my announcements from the board, and then as time allows, I'll read the minutes of the November Rent Leveling Board meeting as a liaison. I set my calendar of community meetings for 2021. If you'd like to have it sent to you via email, please email me, and I'm happy to add you to my email distribution list. The information will also be available on the city's website in the calendar section and on my council Facebook page. This year, we will celebrate Black History virtually. Our essay contest is again open to all Linden youngsters who are in grades 6 through 12, and the theme is, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. We hope to read inspiring original works of how Blacks have overcome adversity, hardship, and second-class citizenship to go on and contribute greatly to society. Details will be posted on the city's website and Linden TV. My phone number is 908-718-7933 if you have questions, and we'll accept the email essays at rcosby@linden-nj.org. I'm collecting addresses for spring tree planting. Email me if you are interested in having a tree planted. And if your sidewalk was damaged, there was no meeting of the difficulties, and their meetings will be as follows. Thursday, February 4th, March 4th, April 1st, May 6th, June 3rd, August 5th, September 2nd, October 7th, November 4th, and December the 2nd. I will provide the minutes from those meetings as a liaison after the meetings are held. So minutes of the City Rent Leveling Board, they met December the 16th. It was a special meeting. In attendance were Tim McLeod, Edward Kaminsky, Joanne Garris, Joyce Maddie, Jacqueline Jenkins, the secretary, and the attorney, Diane Douglas. Old business, a motion to approve the minutes from the January 15th, 2020 was made by Ed Kaminsky, seconded by Joanne, and unanimously approved. Barry JAVICK is no longer the councilman liaison, and he was replaced with me. I guess he's doing way too many things now since he's being appointed to everything. I'm sorry, just ignore that part. New business, unanimously acknowledged the passing of Pauline Bahuda, the retirement resignation of former board chair Mark McDonald, which was accepted January 15th. The board unanimously acknowledged the retirement resignation letter of Angela Thomas Braxton. A motion to approve the new Rent Leveling Board meeting dates was approved, and their meetings will be as follows. March 17th, May 19th, July 21st, September 15th, and November 17th. They continue with new business. With regard to the board, they need new members. The board secretary is going to notify the city clerk, and the public is supposed to be notified about how you can apply. At 7:15, there was a motion to adjourn made by Ed Kaminsky, seconded by Joanne, and it was unanimously approved. The secretary is Jacqueline Jenkins, and she can be contacted at jjenkins@linden-nj.org. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Roman.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, Linden. Happy New Year. I'm going to try to give a quick report. I hope you're all safe and healthy. I just want to let everyone know that Clinton Street gas mains are going to continue. There's been a lot of construction over East Morris Avenue, Clinton Street, and it's going to go all the way up Clinton to 1 and 9 and over to East 10th Street on Clinton. So if your street gets worked on, I believe Stimson, Cedar, Liberty, some of Union, all getting work done. Believe me, they will be putting them back with paving and crosswalks in the future. So that should be being done in the spring, over the spring. This is very important. Over the last 5 or 6 weeks, there's been piles of rubble that have come from the GM site, the new Legacy Square site, where construction is going on the new Legacy Square. I want everyone to know that the city is aware, and the city has been all over the contractor to get rid of these piles, and they should be remediated and getting out of the way within a week or two. Just so you guys know, the rubble is sometimes 1 story, almost 2 stories high, and they're right up against the Hampton Street houses. If I lived on Hampton Street, I would be freaking out too. I've been contacted by all the residents. I just want them to know that we are on top of them. I am in contact with engineering and Legacy Square every day on this. And if you have any other questions in regards to the specificness of this, please call me 908-494-5784. COVID-19 update. There will be a walk-up COVID-19 testing center on this Thursday, January 21st at Oak Ridge Park. This will be from 9:30 to 1 p.m. So if you want a free COVID test, come to Oak Ridge Park in Clark, all the way down Raritan Road, from 9:30 to 1 p.m. The lines haven't been too long, so if you come at 11 a.m., you should be in and out safely with a precise COVID test. You usually get the response on the results in 1 day. It's free and it's sponsored by the county. Also, vaccines, the rollout is slow, but you can go to ucnjvaccine.org for more information through the county, and also just Google the vaccine through New Jersey. Their proxy is up and running. It's just hard to get an appointment right now. So if you're at risk people, they can sign up to get their COVID vaccine. They should ASAP. I was glad to hear that there was a deal made on the old juvenile detention center to turn it into the new fire academy in Union County, as Councilman JAVICK had said. This has been needed for a long time. I'm excited that being on the fire committee, I'm excited to see it take place and to see this fire academy stay in Linden. So shout out to all the chiefs that put their minds together to get this done, as well as Union County. Finishing up, the 6th Ward recently lost another resident. His name was Matthew Valvano. I want to send my condolences to the Valvano family, specifically Mr. Dennis Valvano, Nancy, and Nicole. Matt was a beloved member of the 6th Ward family and of the West Linden Avenue family, where I also reside. He never failed to pull me aside and give me a piece of his, or where he thought I was going wrong. Matt's biggest gripe was West Linden Avenue and the speedings and the bumps that would be on West Linden Avenue and make the truck traffic. When the trucks hit these bumps on West Linden Avenue, it almost knocks you out of bed at night. But that's how loud they are. And if you live on West Linden Ave, you know that sound. So I can finally say tonight with Resolution 66 and the state aid that we received, we will be approving the resurfacing of West Linden Avenue. And I'm excited to see that come to fruition next year. And hopefully with some nice striping to slow the cars down on that street. Last year, we were supposed to also have West Munsell on the list. I believe it's still on the list. I'm excited to see that project start as well. And I believe that is it, Council President. I just want to say happy birthday to the King, the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. I hope with this new administration federally, I hope that we can one day realize your dream, sir. Thank you, Council President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Roman. Councilman Strano?
Good evening, Council President. I have before me the personnel report for January meeting of Linden City Council. We have 7 items here, starting with number 1 in the police department. A is the rescinding of the hiring of the per diem dispatcher, June Spahn. B is promotion of Leon Pastor to police sergeant, effective February 1st, 2021, at the annual salary of $110,268. 2 is in the fire department. A is the permission to hire 8 firefighter recruits from the attached list effective January 27th, 2021, at the annual salary of $40,000 pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. B is the promotion of firefighter Ryan Gergich to the fire lieutenant effective February 1st, 2021, at the annual salary of $108,000. Can you please excuse me for 1 second? I have a family issue here. I'll be right back.
Grandpa Ralph about to go lay down, I think.
Sorry, I just had to close the door. I read B as the promotion of Ryan Gergich, right? I did that.
Yes.
So that was in the fire department. And in the recreation department, it was the appointment of Malaysia Thomas as a public information assistant effective January 28th, 2021, at the annual salary of $75,000, effective pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. A is permission to post for a full-time recreation leader. 4, in the Department of Community Services, Division of Public Works. A is rescinding the hiring of Eddie Salas, Laborer 1, Tier 2, effective December 1st, 2020. B is a change of rate for Pedro Calzado, heavy equipment operator, to $26.50 an hour, which is effective February 1st of 2021. In the Division of Buildings and Grounds, base salary increase for Jerry Bishop, Deputy Director, of $10,467, effective January 20th of 2021. B, amending the hiring date of Theron Dix, Mason/Senior Carpenter, to January 4th of 2021. C is accepting the voluntary resignation in good standing of Andrew Zimmerman, laborer, effective December 1st of 2020. 5 is in construction code, amending the hire date of Shayla Bellinger as a code enforcement trainee to January 4th of 2021. 6, carryover of the 2020 vacation time, and the list is on file in the personnel division. It is the personnel approval of the January 2021 requested FMLA/NJ FMLA leaves for employees, which is on file with the personnel division. I move for approval of the personnel report and request a second.
Council President?
Yes.
Yes, on number 4, C, I believe that's supposed to be
Second first, Councilman.
December 31st.
Councilman. Okay, we just need a second first.
Second.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Councilman. What is the change?
On number 4, C, I believe that's supposed to read December 31st, not first.
Mr. Roth?
Yes, it's supposed to be the 31st, I believe. I believe the resignation was dated the 31st.
Okay, council, everyone notes that. For A, it's December 31st, 2020. Okay, we had a motion and second on the floor. Can we have a roll call, please?
Discussion. Mrs. Ormond,
Yes.
JAVIK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Mohammed?
Ms. Cosby,
No.
Mr. Roman,
I'm gonna vote yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Sorry, guys. Yes.
Hickey,
Yes to all, no to 3A.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Okay, I'm just gonna remind some of the council members, there's a lot of feedback. We should not be live streaming the meetings. We should be in one meeting right now. Thank you. Councilman Strano, go ahead with your report, please.
Thank you, Council President. I'd just like to finish up by mentioning that item number 5 on the consent agenda was the retirees. The agenda said that we had Nancy Colbus, Police Sergeant Andrew Perella, Officer Jeff Searles, and Bobby Zach from DPW. I'd like to congratulate all of them on their retirements, but I'd like to say a few words about Nancy. She's been with the city for 40 years, dating back to June of 1981. That was her hire date. And I believe it was 1995, around just before I came on council, that she became our Linden health officer. She was always reliable, an unflappable department head, and she was admired by her peers throughout Union County, as I can attest because I attended many Union County health officer meetings with her through my career at Union County. I also want to mention Jeff Searles, my old friend Jeff, Officer Searles. Jeff was a neighbor of mine when he lived on West 15th Street, and I had my shop, right across the intersection, which is now the Target parking lot. Jeff was somebody that was always a character, and I can still remember Jeff parking his Tropicana semi-tractor trailer in front of my shop, which created a controversy in the beginning, but we became fast friends. He was one of my customers, and I just want to wish him well during his retirement. That concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Strano. Councilman Blaine.
Good evening, everyone. The residents of Linden and especially the residents of the 8th Ward. Just want to wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope this new year has brought and will bring prosperity to everyone along with their family members. As everyone knows, the pandemic is alive and well. There's a second strand that's coming through our country. So I'm going to encourage everyone to take the vaccination if you can. I work for a hospital, so it's mandatory that I take it, but I'm also volunteering to take it for not only my safety, but the safety of all others that I come encounter with. This year and the end of last year, we worked very diligently on this budget, and it's a grueling process, but we'll assure everyone of the city of Linden that we are doing our due diligence, sharpening our pencils, dotting our I's, crossing our T's to make sure that we represent this city and run it as efficiently as possible. Just want to acknowledge one thing. Baltimore Avenue is the street of the week. If you travel down Baltimore Avenue, you'll see signs. Kind of proud of that, just to get some recognition in our ward. And also all the residents of Linden should be excited with all the construction and new projects going on, because we're on the move, and it's a very exciting time, even in this kind of I'd say pandemic era where a lot of things we have to be patient about. As the chair of Parks and Recreation, just want you to know, stay tuned for some new initiatives coming down the pike in terms of hopefully we'll have some virtual activities going on. There was a game night, wasn't well promoted, but going forward, we look to get that even more promoted, get some more activity, get some more involvement. We really want to start this year off with a bang and try to bring us all back together. And with that being said, in terms of the insurrection that happened on January 6th at the Capitol. I encourage everyone on council and everyone that I come encounter with, let's be mindful of the words that we use, because some of it can be insightful. It can promote violence and negativity. And I hope going forward, we curb that. I mean, it's one thing to be transparent and do your due diligence and do the job you've been elected to, but there's another when you start attacking, and I'm pleased that we're kind of trying to turn that corner. So everyone should be happy about that. I look forward to working with the IT committee, Councilwoman Caldwell. She's a very intelligent woman. She has some new initiatives and new technology she's going to bring to the city. So everyone should be pleased about that. That's about it. Oh, one other thing. I want to make this one announcement about parked plastic property. Everyone should be pleased to know that the property is not contaminated. There have been several tests and surveys done. And I don't know exactly what's going to come on that property, but everyone should be pleased to know it's not contaminated. So, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Blaine. Councilman Medina.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Spare me a second. I'm just going to bring up my document up here. Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year, Linden. I want to echo my colleague, Councilwoman ORMON, earlier from her comments and her report, that I also want to thank everyone in the city of Linden, all the department heads, all the employees, field people, for their continued support, for taking my calls and providing an amazing service to the residents of Linden. I don't think there isn't any other town in Union County, I want to say even New Jersey, that provides the level of service that we provide here in the city of Linden. I think that's why so many people move here to Linden, because of the level of service that the city has to offer. I also, just along those lines, also want to wish Nancy Cobles happy retirement. She has taken many of my calls, and I have to say that I'm saddened to hear about her retirement, but I'm excited for her, and she will be deeply missed by me. She has been nothing but wonderful, always willing to extend herself for the residents of Linden and this council and this governing or this governing body. So good luck with everything, Nancy. I'll definitely be in touch with you before the 1st. I want to mention, I want to touch on the newsletter. I released my newsletter last night. Been hanging on to that thing for a few months, waiting for some pertinent information to come in so I can update it. But I finally was able to release it last night. I apologize in advance for any grammar issues that I might have missed. But, you know, I wanted this newsletter not just to focus on the current or upcoming projects, but I really wanted to focus on the year 2020 and what we all been through in 2020. My notes in the first page talks about us adapting to COVID, adapted to teaching our children, and just adapting in so many ways during 2020 and during this pandemic that we're still currently in. And then my final comments, and I encourage people to read it, is really just touch on community. Why we chose to invest here in Linden. For me, particularly in Sunnyside, you know, how great of a place Linden is to raise a family, and just try to encourage folks to take pride in our community. Let's do little things to keep our community looking great versus picking up a piece of litter, putting our garbage cans to the side of our homes. Just little things that would, you know, continue to keep our curb appeal and keep our community a great place, just to keep attracting people and new families to come into Linden and raise their family. So I encourage folks, if anyone wants to receive the newsletter, I can email it. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, unable to afford to print them and actually mail them out. And every time I put out a newsletter, it will come out of my own pocket, out of my council salary that I reinvest back to the community. But as many as you know, I was one of those folks that were affected directly from COVID, and I was laid off back in March. And unfortunately, I had to use some of my council salary to supplement some of my lost income. So I cannot afford to print out 2,500 newsletter that are 4 pages, double-sided in color, or even in black and white. So I encourage folks, if you want it, I can add you to the email distribution, but it's currently on the Linden Sunnyside page and also on the Nextdoor platform for anyone to review. In that newsletter this year, I hope I wasn't a little bit too early, but my understanding is that we're moving forward with the Wood Avenue project. And I thank the few key people there, especially our mayor as well, for being very supportive of that project and redevelopment in town. So I encourage folks to just read it. I think it's a good read, especially for the folks in the 9th Ward. Just moving on down here. Sorry, I have a few notes here. I do have some ideas for 21 in terms when it comes to quality of life. I am going to be emailing our Recreation Committee or Parks and Recreation Committee. I would like to see not only around the parks in the 9th Ward, but throughout the city, since there are a ton of dog owners out there. I would love to see doggy bag waste receptacles to be placed on current street signs or the poles. I think that will help curb a lot of the dog waste on our curbs. I believe it will hopefully bring awareness and to the problem that we're having around our parks. So I will be sending out an email, and hopefully it will be entertained by the committee and brought in front of the governing body for their approval. Also, I'm going to be launching it's an idea that I got from another person. Just bear with me 1 second. My son is a little bit too excited, so he's in the background here. You know, my wife and I, we were actually walking around Wayne Angle Park with our son, he's really getting the hang of his scooter. And there was a mom and her 2 children, and you know, she has a little program just to make it fun. But they go around the park and they pick up litter, and they go based off a point system. And based on the point system, they get like a gift card or whatever rewards they got coming to them. So I'm going to put some ideas together, work with others, and see if we can come out with something where we pick a date and get kids involved, help, you know, contribute to the community, pick up a piece of litter. They get X amount of points for that litter. And at the end, a gift card to an eatery here in Linden. So again, I'm just thinking about some ideas and brainstorming how to just build community and keeping our community clean and enjoyable. There's only so much that the city can do and DPW can do, but we all have to do our part. I want to touch on some quality of life issues again. Getting a ton of complaint. I remind folks, I live on Orchard Terrace. I know exactly what you're going through. But we have a private jitney service going up and down Orchard and the Wood Terrace and even the Wood Street. And I asked our city clerk and our city attorney, even the mayor as well, to look into how other towns are handling these private jitneys. You know, and it's not so much that it's, you know, 1 or 2 every 4 or 5 hours. No, this is an unfortunate constant onslaught of buses that are traveling up and down Orchard and the Wood Terrace, picking up and unloading people and picking up, unloading people, just stopping at every single corner. It's becoming a major quality of life issue. People are complaining about the noise pollution, just stopping in the middle of the road. You know, Orchard and the Wood Terrace, they're not bus routes. And I understand where people are coming from. They didn't purchase a home next to a bus stop. So we're figuring out ways how we can curb this issue. And hopefully we'll have a solution for this problem. I look at it as a quality of life issue. I look at it as a public safety issue as well. A lot of these vehicles with tinted front windshield, no DOT signs on the side of them. For me, it's scary the way these vehicles are navigating up and down our streets, dropping off people and whatnot. So I heard you loud and clear. And again, I remind folks, I live on Orchard Terrace. I see it every day, 50 plus times a day. all the way up to 9 o'clock in the evening. And it starts as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I'm hoping that our city attorney will come back to us with some information or some ideas how we can start enforcing or hopefully curb this problem. That being said, I don't think I have anything else, but I'm always available. 908-986-6100. I can also be reached at amedina at linden-nj.org, or you can also text me as well on my cell phone. I'm always available. Looking forward to 21, looking forward to accomplishing more in 21 and working with our department heads and our city employees to deliver the excellent service that we have been delivering to the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Medina. Councilwoman Hickey?
Thank you, Council President. By the time it gets to me, everything else has been pretty said, but I do want to congratulate the retirees and thank them very much for their service, and also all of the individuals that gave time and energy to our zoning and planning board. I am this year chairwoman of the Division of Buildings and Grounds. We do have a new deputy director, so I am looking forward to having a one-on-one meeting with him very shortly and giving a thorough update in February with what he foresees in the future and his plans. We also have a committee meeting set up for the last Tuesday of the month. There was one issue, grants. Many times at the beginning of the year, I spoke about the grant money that we received from Union County for the 10th Ward. And I am waiting to, I'm going to set up a meeting with Ralph Dunham to see how we're dispersing those funds. I am looking forward to redoing the back of McManus, which entails the 9th and the 10th Ward, to make sure, like I said before, everything there is from when I was a little girl. So I'd like to get together and get a plan together for that. I know that engineering is still working on the roads that weren't paved in 2020 in the 10th Ward. So hopefully that will be happening as soon as the weather becomes much nicer for them to pave. There was one issue I wanted to talk on too, as Councilman Medina spoke of, and also Councilwoman ORMON spoke of. Today I saw that and I've had this problem in my ward before with people redoing their homes, how dumpsters are coming and being dropped off at 4 or 5 in the morning and Sunday mornings and picked up. And this happened again to someone early this morning. I want to encourage everybody, if that does happen, and if you are able to get at least a picture of a phone number of the dumpster company, is what I have done in previous times, to make sure that we can take care of that, and call the company and let them know that this is not appropriate and this is not how we run things in Linden. It is not fair to all the residents around. So please, if you can, get a picture. You can also call the police department and they will come by as well. Besides that, I'd just like everybody to be considerate to their neighbors. I've had some complaints about some very loud music. You know, I understand that everybody has a party or a small gathering here and there, but, you know, be respectful. Our houses aren't acres apart and not everyone enjoys the same music. So please, be respectful of your neighbors and their property as well. With that being said, I look forward to giving everyone thorough reports next month, and happy Valentine's Day, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hickey. Okay, before the mayor comes on, I just have a few announcements. Mayor Armstead's administration is committed to saving money and delivering no tax increases to our residents, especially in times like this with COVID. So one of the other initiatives that came about from last year Recreation Committee and some initiatives from the Armstead administration, we consolidated our entire recreation department into the JTG Center. We used to have it located also in our old City Hall, which is the building over by Wendy's. But they made the move over to the entire rec department is now over in the JTG building. I just also like to make mention that February 26th at 7 p.m., they're gonna have a trivia night, virtual trivia night. So if everyone that has capability with Zoom, it would be a fun night. My family participated in the music bingo the other night. Like I said, I believe Councilman Blaine said it wasn't advertised so well, but moving forward, we have a new PR person, so I'm sure this information will be getting out more to the residents. So again, that's February 26th. I have a report from the library this evening. For the first time in its 93-year history, the Linden Public Library has its own official logo. The library recently held an online contest to reach out to members of the community to design an official logo. A committee of several library staff members and Dennis Purvis, the library director, narrowed the contest to 2 finalists from nearly 24 contestants. The 2 final designs were posted on the library's Facebook page, and library patrons voted for their favorite. The winner of the contest was 7th grade Linden student Nicholas Dahl, who received a $50 gift card from the Friends of Linden Library. In addition to the prize, Nicholas Dahl's creative logo will be used on all future library communications, and the design and color will be incorporated on the library's social media platforms and website. Again, we'd like to congratulate Nicholas Dahl on his winnings. The library will also host a virtual Valentine slime show from February 8th to February 16th, 2021. I know some parents might not be happy to hear that, but the kids love it. It's going to again be a virtual Valentine slime show, February 8th to February 16th. The link is on the Linden Public Library webpage and Facebook page. They also have a list of ingredients needed if you would like to make the slime during the program. I encourage all Linden residents to check out the library Facebook page for weekly trivia posts, photography, story times for young children, as well as many other activities. Okay, and that concludes my report on the library for this evening. Mayor Armstead, you're up.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Thank you all for being so.
The resolution from the beginning.
Yes, I do have a proclamation.
Okay.
And I'd like to read that first. It reads, whereas Philip Schwartz was born in Linden, New Jersey on February 11th, 1921, his parents, Friedel and David Schwartz, were Russian immigrants who immigrated to the United States and settled in Linden, New Jersey. And whereas Philip was the youngest of 4 sons, Philip and his 3 brothers, Samuel, Irving, Nathan, all lived on Chandler Avenue in Linden before moving to Chandler Avenue in Roselle. Philip went to the Linden school system until 3rd grade, when he then attended the Roselle School District and graduated in 1930 from Abraham and Clark High School. And where Philip met his beloved wife, Miriam Persley, at a dance in 1938, when they both were 17 years old, and it was love at first sight. Miriam was also a Lindenite, who was the 5th of 10 children born to Yetta and Isaac Persley. Phil and Mim, as they refer to each other, had a love story that lasted for 74 wonderful years until the passing of Miriam in 2013. And whereas Philip and Miriam eloped and got married in the town of Elkhorn, Maryland, because at the time they could not legally marry in the state of New Jersey. Once they were of legal age to marry, their parents insisted they be married by the rabbi to make their marriage legal again according to Jewish law. And whereas Philip enlisted in the United States Army in 1942, and was assigned to the artillery unit. He fought bravely for our country for 4 long and arduous years. He stationed mostly in Italy, where he was in the Battle of Anzio and the Battle of Monte Cassino, both battles which played a major role in driving back the fascist forces and taking back Rome. After the Allied forces declared victory over Germany and Japan, He was honorably discharged in 1945 and returned home to Linden to resume his life. And whereas Philip, along with his wife Miriam, bought their first home in Linden at 212 First Avenue, where they started their family, raising their two sons, Joel, born May 4th, 1947, and David, born August 20th, 1951. They lived there until they moved to their new home at 528 Fernwood Terrace. Philip and Miriam resided at the Fernwood address until 2005, when at the age of 83, they made a bold move to Newton, Massachusetts to be closer to their son, David. And whereas Philip still considers himself a Linden boy through and through, and his love for his hometown of Linden and the state of New Jersey has never wavered. His stories span 100 years of history and considers them more precious than jewels. Today, to add to that history, he is able to boast that his grandfather and great-grandfather, how proud and blessed he is of his 8 grandchildren and his 2 great-grandchildren, and now therefore be proclaimed that I, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden, in the state of New Jersey, on this 19th day of January 2021, announced that February 11th be declared Philip Schwartz Day here in the city of Linden, and that I'm honored to congratulate Philip Schwartz on his 100 years of life. Philip Schwartz is and has been a man of integrity who has and still does live a rich life full of service to his country, loyalty to his hometown, love for his family, and that he has filled the lives of his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren with memories that will last their lifetime and be passed down for generations to come, and is signed by me, Derek Armstead, Honorable Mayor of the City of Linden. Now that's good news. But we have some sad news as well. I received a call from Bob Mega. Bob Mega used to be one of our judges here in town, and he's now a Superior Court judge in Union County. He called me to let me know that his former law partner, Richard Kachansky, also a former municipal judge of Linden, had passed away this weekend. According to Robert Mega, Judge Kachansky served as municipal judge from 1975 to 1994. He retired in 1994. Well, because I've been here so long, I'm going to talk about a little bit about Judge Kachansky. Number one, when I was a senior in high school, as a senior, they assigned us sophomores. Every senior was assigned a sophomore. You had to, like be his big brother. He was your person to look after. Judge Kachansky's son was the guy who was assigned to me as a senior in high school. Very nice man, very nice young man. And you can tell that he had his father was the one that raised him. But other than that, we used to call Judge Kachansky, we used to call him No Chance Kachansky. He was a serious judge, he really was. As they say, he didn't take any tea for the fever. I'm gonna just tell a little joke. One night I was in court, it might have been for motor vehicle violation, or it might have been for anything else. I don't know what I was there for that night. But there was a gentleman who had taken his mother's car. And apparently this was a routine habit by this gentleman to take his mother's car. And the guy, it wasn't so bad that he took his mother's car. The guy couldn't drive. Every time he took his mother's car, he would crash it. So as we call him, No Chance, said, "You were just here last month." He said, "You wrecked your mother's car." Then he said, "Is this the same car?" He says, "Yes." He said, she got it fixed and you wrecked it again?" He says, "Yes." He says, where were you going?" He says, "I was hungry. I was going to McDonald's." And No Chance told him, "Well, you don't have to worry about being hungry for the next 30 days because the county's going to be feeding you." And that was that. We fell out. It was, but that's who he was. He was a good guy. He had a little bit of sense of humor also. But I certainly would miss him because I knew him from as well as a judge. He worked with Bob Mega and his law firm, and I had done some work with their law firm. My family had built some property on Southwood Avenue. They were the attorneys who represented us. So No Chance, I know you're smiling down on us, and I know you're saying you may have said no chance to some people, but you certainly gave a lot of people a chance also. So may God smile on you and your family. And that's all I got to say about that. He was a good guy. All right, city business now. I got some real good news regarding property located at the former Park Plastic site. It appears that the county had conducted a phase 1 study to determine if the property was contaminated. The results of the phase 1 study have indicated that the property happens not to be contaminated. So what we initially thought to be contaminated property that would allow us to enter into a redevelopment agreement to develop this land may no longer be needed. The property, since it's uncontaminated, can be subdivided into individual lots, and they can be auctioned off to developers. Now, there's 7 buildable lots, which at a minimum can be auctioned off for approximately $150,000 per lot. Now, that's what lots are going for in Linden right now. And this could bring potentially over $1 million to our coffers. So I'm requesting that the government body take the necessary action to prepare to auction this property. And that means, you know, calling up engineering and making sure everything is in place. And I suggest that we take necessary action to consider this as anticipated income in our upcoming budget. So I think this will help us tremendously going forward. So I'd like the engineering and finance department to proceed and looking at whatever has to be done to make this come to fruition. We can certainly use the money, you know, coming into this next cycle of a budget. So one more thing, Friday, January 22nd, 2021, we'll be meeting with the SIDS and LEDC directors to discuss scheduling a small business education webinar. So within the next month, to help educate the business owners in the SIDS district with their marketing, business strategies. We look forward to having a date and the flyer on the website. So that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. Hope to see you all next month.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Just go on here. Okay, we're going to move on to resolutions. Tonight, we have resolutions 2021-18 through 2021-94. Can I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for approval of resolutions 2021-18 to 2021-94 and ask for second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Just second.
Councilwoman Caldwell, seconded. Discussion, anyone? Please use
Discussion.
and raised hand icon. Councilwoman Cosby?
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
There's an
I just
echo
wanted to
on
discuss.
your feed.
Excuse me?
There's a bad echo.
I don't hear echo. I wanted to discuss number 79 and number 45.
Go ahead.
Okay, so for number 45, I just wanted to say this is a resolution recognizing the contributions of the recently transitioned Elijah Johnson Sr. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge his family for sharing him with us here in Linden for so many years. And just, you know, he's going to be missed, especially by me. I wanted to talk about number 79 and just call everyone's attention to last night's meeting. And I'm not sure, I'm almost positive that it was the mayor who made the comment about this when Mr. Kaiser asked the question. And I want to say that it was said, this owner was in agreement with having the property sent to be, you know, reviewed for redevelopment. I just want to let everyone know what this property actually is. It's from the corner of St. George's Avenue and Chandler down. And if you guys know Maria Laus Construction, the lady with the big truck and the lions and all like that, she's been redeveloping this for a number of years. So how come someone who's actively redeveloping, now you're going to say that it needs redevelopment? I don't understand that. Also, I want to just make sure that everyone is aware that this woman sent a letter to each individual member of the city council, and she told us in no uncertain terms, does she have an interest in sharing the properties with anyone or going into business with anyone or selling to anyone. I feel like we need to leave her alone, let her do what she's been doing. They're doing a good job. Most of the properties are occupied, and I just don't understand this. It just seems suspicious to me, and those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council President. I am also just going to speak quickly about 79 and 45. I wasn't able to speak about 45, Mr. Elijah Sr. In my report, I didn't have a lot of time, but I met Mr. Elijah. I was in 2010. I was helping the then mayor. I was literally just a kid handing out palm cards back then. It was 11 years ago. And he was handing out palm cards for Miss Roshana Cosby. And I met him that day, and I just remember being taken back as like an awesome old man. Like, this guy's the dude, like the elder of Linden. He raised a great son and a great family. So rest in peace, sir. But as per 79, resolution, City Council designated the property known as 1204 to 1222 East St. George Avenue, along with 1201 to 1213 Union Street. These lots conjoined. Yes, we did receive a letter from Ms. Lau saying that I think it was sent to us moments before council really started. But it basically said all of these are in disrepair. These, please stop or mute, please. These properties are closed and secured by a fence. They're clean. They're not abandoned. They're in good condition with new siding and roof. We got this letter from the property owners. They're saying that they are not interested unless the city feels empowered to develop this project, or Laos is going to develop this project. If the city is interested in working with Laos contractors, please include my name in these resolutions, as I've earned it by merit. So I think that we should at least consider changing this resolution to include our name, which it does not include. However, to the general public that doesn't exactly know what's going on, I'm gonna break it down to you in layman's terms. They're gonna designate this property that's owned by Mrs. Laos as a area in need of redevelopment. They're gonna try to, bully her. I don't wanna say bully, but and try to use, I think the resolution is gonna say use what is in the local redevelopment and housing law that allows the city to do in order to kind of force or push her. She can keep the property in good shape as she has and continue on with her life. I don't see it says without condemnation there, so the city doesn't plan on condemning. I don't think that we should be pushing and bullying people, but I do see a value in redeveloping the area, and I hope that the city would sit Ms. Laos down, put your bygones be bygones, and work together and maybe make something really nice over there. Thank you, Council President. I don't have anything else to say.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, I see Gretchen Hickey.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I would just like to read the letter that Ms. Laus sent to us this evening in case others didn't get a chance to read it. Good evening, representatives of the City of Linden. This is to inform and update you on the information about my properties on St. George Avenue in Linden, New Jersey, and Union Street, Linden, New Jersey, Block 51, Lot 2, 3, 4, 5, 32, 33, and 34. Lots 3, 4, 34 were acquired only 8 months ago by us. To correct and update the information in the Planning Board report presented by Paul Ricci, none of my properties are abandoned or in poor condition. Sorry, I just think it's rude for me not to put my video on. Or in poor condition. 1206 East St. George Avenue is a mixed-use property and has not been unoccupied for 2 years. Previously operating a beauty salon like this on record in the city of Linden. Today, we are waiting approvals from the Planning Board to open a daycare. 1212, 1214, 1218 East St. George Avenue, Linden is closed and secured by a fence. It is completely clean and it is not abandoned. 1209 Union Street, Linden, is closed and secured by a fence, completely cleaned and not abandoned. 1211 and 1213 Union Street, Linden is neat and in good condition with a new siding, roof, and windows. I want to inform the city that I am a pioneer in the city and on St. George Avenue. My work started in 2015 at 1228 East St. George Avenue, Linden, and in 2018, I purchased a city lien from the property at 1214 East St. George Avenue. The city took it away from me without warning. Consequently, I wasted my time and money to further develop this area. I have worked very hard to develop and clean this area. Now the city is interested in developing my area. For informational purposes, I want to inform all representatives of the city that I am not interested in selling my properties, and I am not interested in associating with everyone. Leos Contractors LLC feels empowered to develop this project. If the city is interested in working with Leos Contractors LLC, please include my name in these resolutions. Sorry about that. Please include my name in these resolutions as I have earned it by merit. Yours sincerely, Maria Laus. You know, this just makes it very frustrating because I thought last night we were told, you know, the business owner was interested, you know, like on other projects before redevelopment. That's why I'm always really uncomfortable on voting on them, because I feel like we never get the truth as council. So I just thought it was important for the public to hear the letter from a woman who is an extraordinarily hard worker and has made a lot of improvements in Councilwoman Cosby's ward, as Councilwoman Cosby has stated. So I just like that to be on the record, and wish Mrs. Leos the best and hope she doesn't get things taken away from her again like she has before. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call on our LEDC Director, Alex Laspinoso.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It seems to me there's a little bit of a misunderstanding here. This is the redevelopment study. Typically, when we do a redevelopment study and it comes before the planning board or the council, you do not designate a developer. We still have to adopt the redevelopment plan, which would be the next step in the redevelopment process. Then when the redevelopment plan is adopted by the planning board and the council, then that will be our next step to either designate a developer or put out an RFP, RFQ. This is how every other redevelopment process has worked for all the projects in the city. I don't know what's going on here, but this is typical, normal redevelopment that we've been doing for all of our projects. You do not name a developer or the owners of the property in the redevelopment study. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laspinosa, for clarifying that for everyone. Mayor Armstead?
Yes, thank you, Alex. I was going to say the same thing, but you beat me to it. So I'll segue right down to resolution for Elijah Johnson. You know, I lived on Southwood Avenue. As you know, my family, we come up on Southwood Avenue, and you know, Elijah worked in a refinery, so I knew him as a very young man. He used to hang out with my cousins. He was a good guy. He was a decent guy, and I recall when I first ran for mayor, how close I came, how we won the primary. We didn't win the general election, but you know, you don't win these elections without support from people like Elijah Johnson. Elijah, he was out there having fish fries and cooking chicken and anything else you can name of to help me energize my base. And we were successful in that first run in 2010. In the primary, we didn't win the general, but we came back in 2014. We were able to win the primary, and we won the general election. So it's a good thing. So he'll be remembered he'll be missed, but certainly not forgotten. Again, he hung out with a lot of my cousins, my cousin Loretta, my cousin Linda, my cousin Snuffy. Oh God, I can name them all. Barry, Rajan. He hung out with all those guys down Linden. You know, yeah, I knew him, like I said, as a little guy, because he used to work in the refinery, and you know, and we were right down there 2 blocks away from the refinery's entrance on Southwood Avenue. So yes, he was a good guy, humble, kind, and considerate. You know, he would give you the shirt off his back. And my cousins, they tell me how they miss him. He was gone, and he's gone. But he did raise some good children. He raised some very nice children, and he should be proud of them. In fact, his one son is an attorney, so he did a good job, and his life was not in vain. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Armstead. Okay, Mr. Antonelli?
Thank you, Council President. Just to kind of add to both Alex's and the mayor's comments, I guess the one thing that's being overlooked here right now is this resolution contains language that says non-condemnation. So, I mean, to the extent that the property owner is concerned about the city doing anything, it's without condemnation. So obviously, if it were with condemnation, perhaps I believe her concern would be valid. But to the extent that it's without condemnation, and Councilwoman Cosby, I see you shaking your head, but I'm actually reading from the resolution, which states without condemnation. I don't see what the concern is. And obviously, if we go forward, the city would not be able to force the property owner to, participate in the redevelopment. It's without condemnation. We cannot take her property for fair value. I don't see what the issue is here, and I just wanted that to go on record. It's without condemnation.
Thank you, Mr. Antonelli. Okay, we had a motion and second on the floor. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Ormond,
Yes.
JAVICK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Mohammed,
Yes.
Cosby,
I had my hands up, but it was ignored.
Yeah.
I would just want Mrs. Lau's letter into the minutes for the meeting officially. I hope that goes. And let me give you my
Councilwoman,
notes.
according to our
I'm
council
voting for.
rules, you have one opportunity to speak on resolutions.
I said what I said. I'm going to abstain on the following resolutions: 18, 19, 22, 28, 29, 30, 31, 72, 77, 84, 85, and 90. I'm going to vote no to the following resolutions: 32, 41, 46, 64, 70, and 80. And 79. And yes to the rest.
Roman,
No, just let me say, I'm gonna vote no to 81, no to 91, no to 79. And yes to the rest. Thank you.
Strano,
I don't think
Yes.
she did any.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes to all and no to 79.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Abstained at 2021-70 and yes on the rest.
Motion is approved.
Okay. We're going to move on to ordinances on first reading. We're going to start with ordinance number 65-2.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 20, entitled One-Way Streets. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden that Section 7-20 One-Way Streets be amended as follows. Add West 15th Street in the west direction from Southwood Avenue to South Style Street.
Okay, can we have a motion to introduce ordinance 65-2?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 65-2 and ask for a second.
Second.
Ormond,
Yes.
JAVIK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Mohammed, Councilman Mohammed,
Yes.
Cosby,
Yes.
Roman,
Yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 65-3.
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the city of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, adopting Schedule 4 PP1.
Can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 65-3?
Council President, I'd like to move ordinance number 65-3 for introduction and request a second.
Second.
Ormond,
Yes.
JAVIK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Mohammed,
Yes.
Cosby,
I abstain.
Roman,
Yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 65-4.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2, Administration of an Ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden that Section 1, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Department Established, Section 2-13, Department of Fire, shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Delete 2-13.1, creation of the department, supervision in its entirety, and add new section 2-13.1, creation of the department, supervision as follows. A, the Department of Fire is hereby created pursuant to NJSA 40A:14-7 and shall consist of a chief and as many firefighters, lieutenants, captains, deputy chiefs, and civilian personnel as the council may determine by ordinance. The department shall be under the day-to-day supervision of the chief, who shall be appointed by the council. B, the following positions and ranks shall constitute the table of organization of the fire department: 1 chief, 6 deputy fire chiefs, 17 fire captains, 14 fire lieutenants, and 79 firefighters.
Can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 65-4?
Yes, Council President. I move for introduction of ordinance number 65-4 and request a second.
Second.
Ormond,
Yes.
JAVIK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Mohammed, Councilman Mohammed,
Councilman Mohammed, you're muted.
Okay, yes.
Cosby,
I abstain.
Roman,
Yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 65-5.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden. Section 1, Chapter 7 Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33 handicap parking regulations, 7-33.1A handicap parking on street. Add 918 Roselle Street on the East Curtis Street side, 1524 Winans Avenue, 1112 Winans Avenue, 104 West 11th Street, and delete 604 West Elm Street.
Okay, do we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 65-5?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce 65-5 and ask for a second.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
JAVIK?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes, yes,
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we're going to now move on to the comments from members of the public in attendance on city business only. No personal, political, or derogatory comments, not to exceed 3 minutes. Members of the public who may be attending are on mute until the public comment portion of the meeting. If you wish to be recognized, please use the raised hand icon in the program to identify yourself. You will then give your name and address as at any council meeting. Failure to do so will result in your being muted and not recognized further. If you are registered more than once, you will only be recognized to speak one time under your first registration as at any council meeting. When public comment is open, the ability to register will be closed. Again, I'm going to ask everyone, please, anyone that wishes to speak from the public, please use your raised hand icon in the program. Raise it now, please. Okay, last call to please raise your hand. I have 4 attendees have raised their hand. Okay. Again, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. I'm going to start with Anthony Mislon. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Hi, good evening. Anthony Mislin, 444 Inwood Road. I just want to piggyback off of the councilpersons for the 9th and 10th Ward in regards to the jitney situation or bus situation on DeWitt. Living down the street from McManus is an absolute nightmare if you leave in the wrong window during the day. There's multiple buses up and down the street stopping randomly in the middle of DeWitt, blocking off both lanes of traffic. I don't understand why they can't just make one bus stop for the entire street, have them walk to it. I mean, it is really a big inconvenience. Also, safety hazard. You know, there's been multiple times where there's people running across the street, no parents whatsoever. Not to mention the fact that, you know, cars are backed up. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when school goes back in, if it does go back in, with McManus and the surrounding elementary schools. That's on that. I have a quick question in regards to the recreation department moving to the JTG Center. What is that recreation building, or what it was the recreation building that's located across the street from Wheeler Park? What is that going to be used for going forward?
Okay, currently it's the welfare department and the Board of Health are in there.
Currently, okay, and that's what it's going to be used going forward. I mean,
as far as we know for now.
What was the benefit of moving the recreation department out of that building and into a smaller building?
Okay, I'm going to call on Mr. Dunham. Mr. Dunham in the program?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Mr. Dunham. Mr. Mislon was asking what was the benefit of consolidating into the one building?
Well, the building is handicap accessible, so it's more user-friendly to the community when they're coming to do business with the recreation department. Also, it consolidated the offices that were at CCB on the second level into the JTG Center, which didn't have space available due to the retirement of 2 employees that worked in that building. So hopefully delivering a better service to the residents of Linden by being in a single level building, and also some cost savings in regards to duplicating of supplies and materials for 2 locations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Mislon, as Councilman Medina had mentioned, I'm sure we will have some more information that he can report on regarding the jitney service. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, next we have E. Kaminsky 101. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Ed Kaminsky, Maple Avenue. Thank you. I guess this, although I'm in the 3rd Ward, I guess this first comment is directed to Councilman Medina. And I say that just because even all these years later, from the first time I ever spoke to him, you know, I like to think of myself as an honorable person. And when I'm wrong, no matter how many years later, I want to give credit where credit's due. So with that, Mr. Medina, you and I have talked. I know you remember the first time we've exchanged comments. Not that you did anything bad, but you know, those many years ago, you were making a point. My point in making the comments I did at the time was to really get in front of and avoid a conversation that can go sideways and really get ugly. And quite frankly, similar conversations have happened in Linden and have gotten ugly in the past by blaming certain things on things such as race and what you have. But that being said, I am wrong. You were ahead of this, Mr. Medina and Councilman Medina, and I will definitely support you in your efforts. You've been speaking about this for years. Obviously, as I just mentioned, a lot of these utility companies come, you know, you question how come they don't do things in other towns and yet they do in Linden. And I've seen it, and it's getting worse. And I still go to other towns, obviously, and see the other towns being treated. And maybe that's because the way the towns do business, quite frankly. But I know you've been very vocal. I want to say I apologize. You were ahead of this one. I recognize that now. And hopefully, you know, your efforts in getting things steered right and working right with the utilities and the work they do, you know, becomes fruitful. I could tell you, you know, here in the 3rd Ward, it's a disaster. And I don't have time to kind of go down the whole list, but just, you know, on my block, on my corner, what has happened over the years and recently is just bad, and there's no end in sight. Second thing, the development. It seems like every month there's another property, and I don't get it. We don't do development well, okay? And no offense to Mr. Lospinoso, there's nobody on the you know, on the dais or a part of the Linden team, if you will, that is in real estate, does real estate development, let alone has a credible and successful track record in it. Something was very telling, a comment that really made my blood boil as a property owner. The property owner doesn't need to know or be involved. That right there is the genesis of the issues. It seems like we're just throwing stuff against the wall, trying to do, quite frankly, I don't know what, but all while shutting out or maybe misrepresenting the position of the property owners. That's backwards, okay? And yes, you can sound, and I hope nobody takes offense to this. You may sound, obviously, I'm a passionate person. You know, at the end of the day, I think we all bleed black and orange. So that's why the passion, and also just the horrific millions of dollars and the results of our efforts over the years with these developments. Like, this is ultimate insanity and a definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It does not make sense. So I wish that cooler heads would prevail. Somebody in leadership takes a leadership role and says, what are we doing? And how the heck can we do this better, really to move Linden ahead? Because quite frankly, when you look around towns, yeah, we may be having some projects on. There's other projects that, quite frankly, have been sitting dormant for years and are going nowhere. All this along, you know, Linden's falling behind our neighborhood, our neighbors and our peers. So there's desperation here. Please leave the property owners alone. We're going to lose these fights. We have in the past. Let's get a tangible plan, please, involved. And quite frankly, let's focus on doing the things that we should do and should be doing and concentrating on getting it right, like keeping the streets clean, like doing things in a cohesive fashion.
Sir, your time is up.
Which, when you look down Wood Avenue, it's really it's not happening. So thank you.
Thank you, Thank you for your comments, sir. Okay, John Kazar, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, John Kaiser, 40 West Munsell Avenue.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yeah, I just want to, I'm going to piggyback off a lot of people's things. First, I'm going to say, we get to talk after the resolutions, after you guys already voted on it, because, Linden's a microcosm of the national scene right now. You guys actually are trailblazers with big tech silencing people on social media and all that. You guys have been silencing the residents and other council people for, a few years now. So that is what it is. I want to thank, first of all, Linden Fire Department. I'd like to thank the firemen and women who helped my father out when came down with COVID, came in the house, took very good care of him. And I want to thank them for that, my neighbors. Just to talk about Miss Laus again, we're going to, not make a big thing of this, and Antonelli's going to say, oh, well, it's non-condemnation and it doesn't really matter. We don't need the owner, blah, blah, blah. Listen, the woman sent out a frantic letter a half hour before the meeting because she knew what happened last night. She sent it to me too. She wanted me to read it. Thank you, Councilwoman Hickey. She kept asking me, are they going to read it? They're going to read it. The fact that you have it on the agenda and everyone just yeses down the line, you're getting the wheels moving now. And like I said yesterday on the caucus meeting, the chief of staff looked me dead in the eyes 2 years ago and said, what's happening at Quick Check now was not going to happen. So, once you got the wheels moving, then later on it's going to be, okay, well now, she's feeling strong-armed right now. She doesn't want this to happen. She doesn't want to sell. And I just think once you get the wheels moving, that it's going to get going there. I had a few other things, but my mind's everywhere right now. Happy New Year and take care. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Hans Herberg, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Hans Herberg, 51 Westover Road. I do hope everyone had a blessed, a safe and healthy, happy New Year's. I'm glad, I really hope, my New Year resolution, I do hope, regardless of what columns and everybody is, I think we need to put aside our differences and, work together because, we got to put the constituents first before anybody else, taking care of them and everything like that. Also, too, I had a question for Mr. Pantina or Mr. Roman, though. The one on Route 1 and 9 and, Style Street, I just had a question about when that intersection is going to be completed, though, because I've seen it work for a couple months, and I was just curious because sometimes it gets traffic, sometimes it doesn't. I was just kind of curious when the whole thing is going to be completed, though. I think it's wonderful the city's moving forward with a lot of projects and everything, but I really hope we can do what's best for the community and for the residents and, working together, though. I mean, it's very heartbreaking to see people hurting each other. Which is not fair for the community. But I feel like, as a constituent, we should all work together. And, I do thank the police department, fire department for all the hard work they've done, even the front line, nurses and doctors. Everyone's been dealing a lot during this COVID and pandemic, but everybody's been working together, helping not just our community, but our nation. So, I think we could show support and appreciation for our first responders and the frontline workers and thank everyone. They've been doing a tremendous job and everything like that. And, that's pretty much it, though. I do want to thank you guys for your time, though. And I really hope, look forward to 2021. And I do hope, moving forward, we can all work together and accomplish something and do what's best. Thank you.
Mr. Pantina? Hans, a question about that corner on 1 and 9.
Yes, good evening. The intersection of 1 and 9 and Style Street is both state intersection, and Style Street obviously is county west of 1 and 9. The last report that I heard was that although the state's position is that the contractor can finish paving with good weather, Union County Engineer's Office and Public Works is taking a further action, whereas they want the final surface to be perfect as opposed to just okay. So they're not going to let them pave until the springtime. So I would say a couple more months. I mean, for the most part, the improvements are done. It's just that they have to remill the surface of Style Street because of the widening improvements they did, and they have to reprofile the road, and then they're going to pave it. So I would say probably end of April, beginning of May, pending on good weather.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pantina.
No problem.
Okay. Can we have a motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting?
So moved.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
JAVIK?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed? Crosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to comments from members of the governing body. Any members of the council that wish to speak, please use your raised hand icon. Okay. Again, we have 1 minute, please. Councilman Roman, I'll start with you.
Hans, welcome to the zoning board. You deserve it, buddy. You always want to take part in the city, and I hope you serve well. I was once on the zoning board as an alternate, and I hope you do great over there. And Nancy, you've served the city for longer than I've been living in Linden, as my family moved here in '83, and I was born in '88. Thank you for all that you've done. I know this was the hardest year probably in your entire career with COVID-19, but you deserve your retirement. You deserve all the praise, and I hope you enjoy your retirement. If you ever need anything from myself or the 6th Ward, which you've called home with your office for so long, please just reach out. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, Councilman Strano?
Council President, I'd appreciate if I could get an extra minute.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, I want to start off by saying my condolences to the family of Elijah Johnson. Elijah wasn't someone that I knew my whole life. He wasn't my cousin or didn't hang out with my cousins, but he's all of those things that the mayor said about, him being kind and a gentleman. My contact with Elijah Johnson, ironically, it hooks right in with Mayor Armstead. Goes back to 1995. Elijah Johnson walked with me in District 7-2 when I was running in my first campaign. And I don't know if the mayor remembers that or not, but we were adversaries at the time, and Elijah was helping me, and the mayor wanted to know what was going on. But anyway, Elijah was also the first person to come to me and tell me that I won. I beat him. And yet remember, I was running off the line. Back then, the Democratic machine was the machine that they said it was. And he was so elated. Our hard work paid off. And I'll always remember, him as that kind gentleman. But he also became one of my customers. And as the mayor said, he was one of those guys that would give you the shirt off his back. He is missed, and Godspeed, Elijah. And I want to take a moment to mention my appreciation for all the department heads and their employees, for all the hard work they put into their jobs. And those who do know who I'm talking about. And I also want to point out that everyone on this council, in their own way, is also putting a lot of effort into their job. But it needs to be mentioned that our mayor and our council president are working tirelessly to to constantly improve our city, and they're too often overlooked or they're condemned for their efforts. And I just want to say that their job is often thankless and unappreciated by so many, and they have no idea of the hours and the workload that they endure. And I just want to publicly thank Mayor Armstead and Council President YAMAKAITIS for their work. And that concludes my comments for this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Strano. Thank you for your kind words. Councilman Medina?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank Mr. Kaminsky for his comments. You know, I know I've been very vocal about the utility companies, and I just want to be clear, you know, our city department heads are doing an amazing job. Our engineering group do an amazing job. We just had some recent hires in that department earlier part of 2020, and I think things will improve. And I think we need to, as a governing body, really stay strong to how we want utility companies to do improvements in our town. We're very grateful that we see improvements. And I know infrastructure improvement is a heartache for a lot of folks. Ninth Ward folks went through it with the gas line upgrade, and I know there's work being done in the third ward for Mr. Kaminsky. I encourage you to reach out to Councilwoman Caldwell. She's great. I can tell you, if you reach out to her, I'm sure she'll get right back to you and she'll address whatever issues that you have on your street or block, with whatever the infrastructure improvement issues that you're experiencing. So just want to encourage people, reach out to the council person. I'm telling you, our engineering group will do an amazing job. They will reach out to whoever they have to reach out to rectify the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Medina. Councilwoman Caldwell.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Nancy on her retirement. I've only worked with you this last year, but my father said you were very kind to him when he was starting up his business, and I thank you for that. And I also want to give an update about code and construction. For the year of 2020, the income was $1,877,000 for the year of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Ormond.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say I have to 100% and wholeheartedly agree with Councilman Strano. The hard work that goes in to our two leaders of this council sometimes goes unrecognized, and sometimes it's a thankless job. Following that note, I want to say that social media has been very ugly. Some of the words and statements that have been put out, and we see firsthand what happened in this country when social media turns a typical person into a crazy person. So we have to choose our words wisely, what we post, not try to incite violence, because I've seen postings that said the mayor should be killed, you know, the council president should be killed, and even disparaging remarks regarding our children. So I'm encouraging this world to be kinder and to realize that, you know, it's a thankless job sometimes, but we do it because we're passionate about it. And then on a last note, ladies, wear your pearls and your chucks tomorrow. There is a woman going to the White House. That's all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Yes, and I have my pearls and my chucks ready for tomorrow. And thank you for your kind words. What you said about the social media, you are right on point. This is where it all begins. So thank you. Councilman JAVICK.
Yes, I just want to congratulate Nancy and the other retirees and wish them well in their new life. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Okay. I too would like to wish Nancy well on her retirement, as well as our police officers and Mr. Zach. I hope your wife don't have you doing too much cleaning around the house on your retirement, but please enjoy. And I'd like to also send my condolences to the family of Elijah Johnson. I too had the opportunity to walk with Mr. Johnson during a campaign. Wonderful man. I don't think I've met anyone that had a negative word to say about him. So I'd also like to extend my condolences to Mr. Henry Mack. Mr. Johnson was like a brother to him. They went hand in hand. That was Henry's go-to guy. So again, Mr. Mack, again, my condolences to you as well. You lost somebody very near and dear to you. Okay, the next council meeting will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, February 15th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall. Meeting to be held virtually. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting, Tuesday, February 16th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall. That meeting will be held virtually also. Council meeting Tuesday, February 16th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Meeting to be held virtually. Again, we ask you to please check the city website, lindennj.gov, for directions on how to participate electronically in these meetings and for copies of the agenda. I'd just like to also make note, we had some improvements to the way we could register. Councilwoman Caldwell put in some efforts today with our web developer to make it easier to get to the link for our meeting. So I thank you for that. So look for that again for next month. With the governor's orders, we're still forced to stay virtually with our meetings. So hopefully sometime soon in 2021, we can be back in the council chambers. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond,
Yes.
JAVICK,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Mohammed, Mr. Mohammed,
Yes.
Crosby,
Ralph, you can let me.
Crosby, Roman,
Yes.
Strano,
Yes.
Blaine, Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Good night, Daniel.
Thanks.
Okay. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.